Hey everybody, it's Judy. Welcome back for part 2 of this pretty little pocket thing that I was doing. I've got pieces ready, I hope. Who knows what I may end up doing as I go along, but this is my plan over here. But the first thing I wanted to do was I had a couple of people ask me if there was templates for this little pocket that I'm doing. Like I said, I found it on Pinterest, I think. I can't remember who did it. So I'm hoping this isn't like too bad. I'll put my hands on it because it's white. So what I did, what the instructions told me, let me do this with just one at the moment. This is 10 inches by 6 inches. Okay. So it's 10 by 6. I just cut it out of an 8.5 by 11. And then you're supposed to score at 4 inches. And then I can see my score lines. And then 2 inches from there and 2 inches from there. So it'd be 4, technically. It would be 6 and 8 inches. Okay, that's where you'll score. All right. Then what they said to do was to come 1/4 of an inch away from your 4-inch score line, which is right here, and come up 2 1/4 inches from the bottom, which is right here. And then you're going to cut that away. So I don't want to cut any of my pieces. So I'm going to go here and here, 2 1/4 inches from the bottom on the 2-inch, on one of the 2-inch sides. On the 4-inch side, 1/4 inch away from the 4-inch score line. You make your marks. I make my marks anyway. And then just cut that part away. Okay, of course I just cut off the 6 and 8, but that's okay. And then all you have to do is just fold. Now, I did it with a ruler and my a bone folder here. I didn't pull out my, actually, there was something I remembered. I didn't pull out my scoreboard to do it. What I found before I did this, because I had trouble getting it to line up, let me get my piece here. I had a little bit of trouble getting it to line up here to close. So what I found, I had to keep refolding and refolding. So what I did was I folded the first 2-inch line in. I just want to get it there. Okay. And then I folded the other 2-inch line back to make sure that it met the edge. Okay. I'm just trying to ease it so I get it right. And then I folded it this way. Okay. So that I was sure, I hoped, I hope this is how I did it. Because I had to keep reworking it and reworking it to try to get it right. So actually that can come up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then it should hopefully meet. Hopefully. It might have to come a little forward. I had to play with it a little bit. And I'm still playing with it a little bit. Then when I did the other piece, let me put this to the side and find the other one. Let's do the same thing here. I'm going to cut my little diagonal because my lines are already drawn. My little guidelines are already drawn. All right, we'll cut that down. All right, and that's that piece. And then this one you're just going to fold in the opposite direction, okay? So it's going to go this way in here. So it's going to go this way, and then that way, I think. I'll try to find my score lines again. There we go. I'm just going to score it lightly. Well, not score it, but fold it lightly. Where are you? There you are. Okay, let's get that one. I'm hoping I'm not too far off screen. I'm trying to do this quickly just to so you can see where that is already not scored, and it's folded back in the wrong place. So I can bring that back. Yeah, I just want to get to the decorating part, but I wanted to give you a quick demonstration. And of course, if you use a scoreboard or you score a little bit better than I did, this you won't have to fight it so much. All right, and then back this way again, right here. Actually, it's got to fold the other way. I just see that now. So that goes this way, this goes that way. All right. Okay. No, no, no. This way. And then back. If you're doing it on plain paper like I did and then just added cut pieces, which is what I did, it doesn't matter if you cut them in the same way I just did, because you can just flip the folds and it doesn't make any difference. But if, and I can see this one's too far over, if you're using a patterned paper, you're going to want to make sure that when you score, we'll use this one, you'll score the one side at 4, 8, 6, and 8, but then when you put this one in, you have to do it the other way. Pretend this is whole. Then you'll have to score at 2, 4, and 6. 2, 4, and 6, if that makes sense, because of your pattern, because you're not gonna be able to flip it. So we have this one that goes this way. We have this one that goes that way. What I did on this one, because they're exactly the same size, is I trimmed this one down just a little bit. I think you should be able to see this. 1/8 of an inch, maybe. 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. That little skinny piece is all I did, just a little bit, so that it wouldn't interfere in the fold. And then that is what you have right there. And I don't know how well you can see that, so let me find something here. This is good. This is something we're going to be using in a minute. So you have that one, and then you have that one, and you can see it's still a little off, so I just had to keep reworking it. Some people do it so perfectly and I, on the other hand, don't ever really get it that perfect. But like I said, you just keep reworking it a little bit and it works. So that's what you have. And then of course it opens, if I can kind of hold it down, like that. And then you could do with it whatever you want. So anyway, so that's it. Again, it's 10 inches by 6 inches. Then you cut, or you put a little dot up here, 2 1/4 inches, here 1/4 of an inch away from the score line. You cut that diagonal, and then you just fold it back and forth on itself. When you get to the other side, you just trim off that little hair just so that it doesn't, you know, it doesn't bind up, and it'll lay flat. So that's it. Hopefully that was explanation enough. Okay, so this is where we are with this. I did a very little bit since you guys were here last, and I am going to keep checking to make sure I'm recording, because my camera is pretty full and I just deleted some stuff, but I don't know how well that's going to do. So all I really did was I cut this. I added some flowers on here, some cut flowers that I use. I realize that this is going to pop up on its own, so that I don't really need a way, you can see that, I don't really need a way to like pull it up. What I did notice, this is straight, and this one's on a slant. Of course, I noticed that after I cut it, so I needed some way to camouflage this. So this is what we're going to do to kind of camouflage. I hope, sorry Olivia, this is named Olivia for the woman, again, who is buying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these little cutouts on, and again, I just print on copy paper, so it's not thick, okay, but I can add it onto things to make it as thick as I would like it to be. So what I did here was I just did 2 layers of copy paper, and then I inked the back. So it's copy paper glued to another piece of copy paper glued to the cutout on the front, and that is what I got. So I've already marked the lines on where I want to glue. So we're going to do this and put this down. I don't want to go over that line because that's going to hang over the edge of the piece. I hemmed and hawed with maybe doing the opposite, you know, doing another piece on the back, but then it would be upside down, which I didn't like. So the trick is getting it where I want it on here. So I want it up a little bit. I don't want it to come all the way down. I'm gluing it down only to that pencil line that I had. Try to keep the glue off my fingers as much as possible. I don't think I had put the acetate in. The acetate is in now. If you can probably see the reflection there from the acetate. So that's going to go there, and this also does help as a way to lift it up. This one I'm going to put here, and I already drew the lines here on where I want it to be glued. Okay, so you can see that. I don't know how far off the camera I am. So I'm just going to put my glue here on this one. Okay, a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to turn it that way and put that, get my glue out of the way, and put that right inside, or right at that pencil line. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect as far as pencil line is concerned, because it's just, you know, kind of where I wanted to place it. So that's what that's going to look like there. Okay, and I think I've got a little glue someplace because it wants to stick. So, okay, still wants to stick, but that's all right. So that dresses that up a little bit. So then what we're going to do here, and we're coming to all of this stuff. This is the belly band that I wanted to put in here. It's going to go up a little higher than I had intended, okay, which is all right. Then I have to find, that's going to be the next one that we do, okay. So this is going to be the belly band, but before I put the belly band on, I have done some pieces that I want to put on the belly band. So the question is where, now that I have the flowers. So I have this little piece, and I should probably ink the back, because no, you know what, I don't have to, because you really won't see it. You know what I'm thinking here? I could do the belly band, but it's got to be on the flap, does it not? It can't be over the flap. It's got to be on the flap. So, amazing. All right. I did this and did this and did this and didn't realize that I wouldn't be able to open the flap until just now. So, we are going to just grab my cutter here, which is kind of on my lap, and just put that down. I'm going to cut that end off. I am going to re-ink it. So I may get a little shaking here because my ink is in the drawer of this cabinet, so my apologies. That's a big shake. I'll just take that ink right out of there. Then we won't have to worry about it. Okay. When I retire, I'm going to have everything set up the way I want, right? Okay. Now, that probably shook something else, because I just jammed into the leg of the table. So that's going to go on there. Now I'm wondering, this is going to be too wide, so I'm going to have to cut this down. So let me cut that down to fit in here. See? You plan, you plan, you plan, and you still have mistakes. So this is going to be narrower. I want this here. Okay. Let me cut that one. Get my, whoops, I'm losing it. Get my cutter again. You might be able to see just the top of it. So, trying to get that straight because it's very easy to cut it crooked when you don't, you know, when the piece isn't that wide. Well, at least it's very easy for me to cut it crooked. Okay. Ink. Here we go again. I'm going to like try to really blast through this so that I can get this done. I don't want to make you guys have a part 3 to one simple piece. Well, it's not that simple, I guess. I don't know that I do anything simple. Sometimes I wonder. Okay, we'll put that there. That will work in there. You're rolling all over the place. Now the question is, do you fit? Oh, you do. Okay. However, what did I do with that pink piece of paper? I had that pink piece of paper that we were using to show you where the things were. Aha, here it is. All right. I was going to, because I had that marked too, but I think I'm going to have to do it a little bit differently now. And this one I have left. I'm wondering, do I want that? This one is now, well, it's too wide, but you know what? I can trim it. I can trim it. Okay, I'm going to do that. This is what we're going to do with this. We're going to glue these two together, and I'm going to back it like a tag. Okay. So let me try to, I just want to make sure I'm doing it in the right place, because I don't have the lines drawn now where they ought to be, because I made this considerably smaller. It's got to be smaller still. So just a little bit. I'm going to trim this down. Let me get this out of the way for a minute, because we're just going to be working on this guy. This has got to be trimmed down just a wee bit. Like I said before, I've taken to kind of using my knife, particularly for small things, because I really do have a hard time. Let me get that. I'm going to make a wiggle again. I'm sorry, guys. Trying to find, I just used this, so this shouldn't, I'm re-inking. So yeah, on finer things, I think is my issue. I think I'm going to trim this down a little bit as well, and I'm going to trim from this side a little bit more. Yeah, I find it a little bit easier, and actually I have, my one light is still off. I should actually try to put that on. Come on. Let me just reach up here, get that light on. That's helpful to me. Okay, so what we're looking at is this with this. All right, that'll work. I can bring it down a little more, but I don't want it any more than that. All right, so these are my new lines. So I'm going to draw this one it's real close to the edge. Oops, and then this one, and that's okay, because nobody's going to see it, because we're going to back it with some cardstock. So this shows you how I build things up, and the layers of glue do add stiffness and stability. You know, once they're really dry, of course when they're still wet they're a little mushy, but once they dry they do add to the stiffness of the piece, so it makes it, you know, easy enough. I wanted this part out. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this right along there, and that should be pretty close. Okay, I did not ink the edge of this, so before I mess that up, let me go back and do that. Do a little inking on that piece. Let me flip this part down and pull this up, and I'll ink the edge of this one, and the other two are easy enough to do. But anyway, like I said, I do this because I usually, when I get a kit, I will print it. And then I put it in a folder. And then I use banker boxes because I move all the time. So this way all I have to do is take the lid from the bottom of the box and put it on the top of the box and put it in the moving truck. It's convenient for me to do that. And it holds all my files upright, and I've got tons and tons. I'm going to turn my back here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 banker boxes full of, pretty much full of printed kits. So I say a lot. I gotta stop saying a lot. That's not any better, is it? I'm looking for more cardstock. So I'm gonna put this on here. Actually, you know what? I don't have to put it on here. This goes on here. I already have done this. What I'm going to do, I think, which way? This way. This was a little bit wider, so I was gonna make this. I do have to make that a pocket, don't I? Make it a card rather. It was wider, so, and this fit really nice, but I'm going to just make this like a tuck spot. So I do actually have to make this a card because I am making it a card. I'm going to move that up and out of the way, and let's get this on here. So anyway, this allows me to use something as an applique, or if I need it to be thicker, like those ones on the edges that I just did, I wouldn't want it to just be copy paper and hanging over the edge. So I didn't want it as thick as card. On something that small on card, it's very hard for me to cut out. The copy paper is much easier, you know, to get a good clean cut on the flowers and going around all the tiny little bits and pieces, the petals and the leaves and so forth. So I just find it easier to, you know, back it onto whatever it is I need. In the case like this with something so small and intricate, I had decided, this isn't straight, so I had decided that I would, you know, just use 2 layers of copy paper underneath it. It was sturdy enough for what I wanted and easy for me to cut. So it's just, you know, I play as I go. I learn new things from, you know, playing with stuff myself, and of course watching other people's videos and you know, seeing how they're doing stuff and, you know, those kinds of things. So it turns out that it works out that way better for me. So that's what I do. So I'm going to just cut this side. What I'm doing here is I'm putting my knife up against what I just glued down because I can feel that resistance, and it helps me to make sure that I'm cutting in the right place. There's times when I actually will cut off a little shaving of something, but for the most part, I usually get it right. So it's just a little bit easier for me. Trying not to lose. I've had all these pieces like put together with whatever it was that I was going to do them with, but I'm not so sure that they've stayed there. So I should be okay though. All right, this one, I'm not sure if I cut that on an edge where I cut something and I cut it crooked or whatever I might have done, but I'm going to just take this and trim it back. Then those little corner pieces, these little things, I'm just going to snip out on my own right here. I hope. I hope. Okay. That one. And then this one. And I think what I'm going to do, since essentially it ends up being 2 tags in the pocket, in the tuck spot. I didn't cut enough of that off, but that's all right. That's what ink is for. I think I'm going to put something on this, like a large rose or something. We'll see what I've got, what I can do there. I'm inking off to the side because I get those little bits because my poor thing is getting chewed up. Time for a new one again. And I buy them by like the dozen, but I use different ones, of course, for different colors. And I'm going to do the back too. So they get used up pretty quickly. Now, I don't use the one for the colors very often. I really just, mostly what I've been using is the Vintage Photo Oxide is what I've been using lately. But this one I wanted something a little softer on. It's still vintagey looking and kind of grungy, but it's a little more golden brown, which is the brushed corduroy. So that's what I did there. So I'm going to put this on, and I'm only going to glue it, you know, part way down. And then I'm going to just trim off the ends. So it won't be completely oval, but it'll still be fine. I'm just going to do that. And I'm not too concerned. I'm going to do a good piece across the bottom to make sure it holds, because they're only going to go in just so far, the tags, or not, journal cards. Just do that. I'm guessing that the difference between a journal card and a tag is that a journal card is, you know, got regular corners, maybe rounded, and a tag's got, like, you know, cut corners or something fancy on top. I don't know. I put ribbons on either one or on neither, so it's hard to say. All right, so that should be okay. Just want to make sure. And then I'm just going to snip off these little ends. I want to keep checking the time and checking that we're still going. We are. Okay, I may do this, honestly, in 2 pieces. Just do it back to back. So we have that. Okay. Let me find, I have a box full. These go in later. I have a box full of these guys. No, I don't like that one. Yeah, I like that one. I'm wondering, do I want... I am going to be using this on the bands, this lace. So now I'm wondering, do I want to... see if I could just tuck this end in here for a minute. Do I want to do... well, that didn't work. And put that on it. Yeah, I think I will. Okay. That's a relatively straight edge. I am going to have to tuck it in. So what I'm going to do here is try to find where it is I want it. Right about there. I'm going to go down here in the middle and put some glue. Let me press that down. So anyway, I don't know where you are in the country or in the world if you're watching from another country, but we are absolutely freezing up here in Buffalo. Try to get this down inside, and then I'll do a little glue so that hopefully it will stay glued. Yeah, I think our high today was supposed to be like 12. And with the wind chill factor is some other ungodly number I probably don't want to even think about. So, yeah, and this is all in anticipation for starting tomorrow. We are supposed to be getting a storm that's coming from the Midwest, apparently. So God bless you all out in the Midwest, because you're probably suffering with it as I speak. So not fun, but it is winter. And, you know, we don't have to live here, I suppose. I mean, my job takes me where my job takes me. And, you know, I guess that's true for most people, but oh my goodness, It's just, it's too much, all this snow. But can be beautiful, at least while it's falling. But you know, by the time they get done with driving on it and salting it and everything else, it doesn't look so pretty anymore. But it is what it is. But we do need the winter, or else we can't have the spring. So, at least up here, anyway. So, and I guess that sounds somewhat confusing to people who are in the southern hemisphere, because their spring is cold and their summer, you know, well, there's what I should say, not their spring, but when it's spring to us, it's fall for them, and when it's summer for us, it's winter for them. So their winter comes in, you know, June, July, and August, and our winter comes in November, December, January, February, March. A lot more than just that. I'm looking for my scissors that I use to cut laces and fabric, which is this one. I find it works really well for that for me. So we have that. And it still ended up being a little off center. And then this one's gonna just tuck right in there. So it looks like it's part of the tag, but it's not exactly. And then when we go to this one, I'm gonna take my, where is my brush? I had a brush. Give me 1 minute, there it is. I'll find my brush. And we're just going to, I had a piece of tracing paper here somewhere. Again, if you could just see this desk, what a mess. What a mess. I'm not taking the time to clean up my messes. I just keep working on top of them. I don't know what I'm going to be left with once I'm done. So, and this one I'm just going to put right in there because I think that looks pretty. We'll put that one down and take my little tweezers here. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned this to somebody else in the comments from the last video I did. I accidentally knocked over my personal computer. I have two computers. There's one that I have from work, so it really isn't mine. And then I have my personal computer. Well, I knocked it over one day and apparently broke the hinge. And I told my husband about it because he asked me what I wanted for Christmas. And I said, well, I knocked over my thing and maybe we can get it fixed. Well, he decided he was going to try to fix it. And I'm not so sure that A, it's going to work, and B, I think we're going to end up having to send it out anyway. And I'm not so sure that the people at Hewlett-Packard or wherever it comes from, I don't know what, I think it's Hewlett-Packard. I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm so tech unsavvy. I have a feeling they're going to open it up and say, who did this? Who put glue? Who did this? Who did this? You know, so I don't know. We'll see what we get. I'm not sure. Not sure what's going to happen. But anyway, all that to say that my Rose Lane Vintage Designs email that you always see posted in the description box, I can't access it right now, but I can access my personal email from my phone. So that being said, if for some reason you want or feel you need to email me about something, I will put my personal email in the description box, and you can email me there as soon as I get my computer up and running again, I hope, or have to get a new one, I don't know. I will let you know when that Rose Lane email is open. Now, I know some of you do email me there, particularly some design team things. I haven't been able to get them, so if you are watching, please be aware, and just if you've emailed me on the other one and you haven't gotten an answer, just email me on the other one that I will put in the description box. And that will be that. So we've got this one, and now we've got this one that will go on top. I may end up putting a ribbon on this one, and where this one goes is going to be here, and that's going to go under the belly band. So now we're going to get back to that belly band if I can find what I've done with it. So we have this, and that's going to go up here, okay, on this piece, because I don't want to block the flowers at all. So we're going to put it down right there. Hopefully this is still going to be able to slide in and out without any real issues. So what I'm going to do is just do the tiniest bit right along the edges. Not so tiny that it won't stick, but I literally want it right up against the edges. Okay. And I'm going to put this down. Oh, I'm not going to do it there. I'll leave it alone because that's too much on here. We'll put that belly band here. And what I usually do is I kind of push it in a little bit from the sides to give it a little pucker in the middle so it's not laying like real flat flush against the, the back page. I do that to try to hopefully ensure that I can get what it is I'm putting in and out. Okay, so I've got that in there. I'm going to leave it there so that this has the ability to dry where it needs to. So now what I'm going to do is I had this, and this. I'm going to put this heart on here on the belly band, and I'm going to put these flowers on the belly band, and I was going to put the butterfly there, but perhaps I will do it this way and put the butterfly here. I think going this way. I think I like that. Like that. What do we think? Oh, can you see that? It'd be nice if I had it so you guys can actually see it. Yeah, I think I like that. So that'll be okay. So let's start with the heart. So I'm just going to try to be careful. I'm not good with mirrors. So I'm going to go this way across. All right. So I'm going to go down here and down here. And then I think I'm kind of doing it in the middle. So I'll just put a little right in there. Okay. And we'll put the heart there. Hopefully I'm not sticking. Nope, I'm not sticking. We're going to take the butterfly. I'm going to use my little, what do you call it here, if I can get them in. I have to look from the side now. And we'll put this little butterfly on. Because you have to have butterflies. That's, it's honestly the one thing that when I'm doing a Christmas journal is, becomes like a real issue for me. And that is, you really can't put butterflies, in a Christmas journal. It just sort of doesn't work. So we're just going to stick that there. And then we have these flowers. And we're going to put them there, I think. Or do I want... No. I'm thinking I'm looking for something else because this might be too big. Let me see what else. What other little ones do I have? No, that won't work. I definitely want something that's a little darker. I have used this one in more than one place, and I don't think that's going to be any smaller. Come. I like it better, though. Okay. All right. Let's get my little ink thing. Let's ink up the white spots on here a little bit. So anyway, yeah, so we're getting ready for a snowstorm. Now, they're saying 9, I think, to 20 inches possible, which, you know, doesn't make me happy at all. Yeah, so I'm not finding that fun. The thought of it or anything, I'm not finding it fun. But, you know, it is what it is. So we're just going to have to grin and bear it. I do actually like that one better than the other one. So that's what we have for that. Okay, so that one's there. Now, what I did do, and I haven't done the band for the outside yet, is I made the tag, which I haven't put a ribbon on it yet, that will go in here. And this will also help. Well, it doesn't really help to hold it down. We have to do the band that goes here. So this tag is going to be in here, and there'll probably be a ribbon. I still may put a ribbon on that. And then we have the other things. So let's work on the band for this. And then we're going to work on the tag that goes inside, inside the pocket. And then I have that. Oh, you know, I was going to do something else there. Oh, I know what I can do. All right, I got it. I was going to lay something else on top of this. I was actually going to put this inside the belly band. But what I'm going to do is just lay it out on top. And I've already done this. And I think these came from my porch prints. I think these were my porch prints. And they come with these little faux waxy tabs. And all I did was back it onto a piece of cardstock. One thing I have started liking is in envelopes leaving just plain paper, because most of the time envelopes would have a letter. Putting tags or cards or something in is pretty, and I like it, but I also like to see that there's a lot of room for journaling besides just all the pretty stuff. So though little tags look pretty for little accents here and there, to me they're not practical for actual journaling. So unless, like, you write somebody's phone number or something on the back of it, or a date for somebody's birthday or something like that. So anyway, I kind of folded it like this so it looks like another envelope, and then you can write on both sides. So I think what I'm probably going to do, maybe not, because it's getting bulky, is to just put that on the inside. Not sure just yet what we're going to do, because it would have ended up being too fat for the belly band now anyway. So actually, why don't we go on to this, only because there's so many more pieces here. I'm going to bring this down. This is what's going to go inside the pocket behind the acetate. Okay, so I have this little photograph. I've got to glue that down. I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm gonna bring this picture up. Maybe if I turn it toward, no, I'll bring it up a little closer. This lady reminds me so much of a very, very dear friend of mine, someone I've known since 7th grade, and it's a long time ago, a real long time ago, and it just so reminds me of her. I'm actually going to take a picture of it and send it to her because it just looks so much like her. Anyway, these flowers were kind of, you know, grayscale like the rest of it, and I colored them in with colored pencils. So we have that's going to go on there. What I want to do is I wanted to bring this greenish bluish color in on this just a little bit. So I'm going to glue this right dead center, down the center here. So I'm going to just take my glue and try to draw a straight line. Drawing a straight line for me is a very difficult thing. You know, when I look at art books and stuff, because I really wanted to learn how to draw, and they're like, there's no actual really perfectly straight lines in nature. I'm like, well, then I ought to be a whiz at this, because I can't draw a straight line. Anyway, so we're going to put this down the center here, like that. Get you over a little bit. And that brings that in just a tiny little bit, but it brings it in. And I still have to do the hole back here from the other. Okay, we'll get that rounded. And this one goes straight. And we can get rid of these two little guys. Okay, and before I forget, let's ink the little ends. Okay, and then we're gonna get this one onto this one, and that's the right way up. So we'll glue this on. And for, like I said, you know, for some people, I use a lot of butterflies. Some people use like tons and tons of butterflies. I have found that I use these flowers. I just love them. I'm finding mostly a style. I mean, I even used it on the Christmas book I did. I even used these flowers on the Christmas book that I did. I put them in with holly, and I loved the way it looked. It just looked really pretty, and yeah, so I'm finding that they're sort of becoming my trademark, I guess. And I guess that works well because, you know, I'm Rose Lane Vintage Designs, so yeah. So it kind of works out. And I don't even mind that I folded the little corner of that paper up there because it looks more authentic, doesn't it? All right, so now the question is, where am I going to put it? Now, I am going to put this across the bottom, and I don't know, did I want to do it this way? It really does go this way. I like that. I like that one. Okay, so that means I've got this one, yeah, that's for the other, and I've got this one going up in this corner, which I just use this on the other thing. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Okay, so I am looking right about at the edge of that leaf for the top of this. So I inevitably don't get it in the same place. So I am looking forward to spring. I know that some people are still doing some winter, not Christmas, but winter journals, and they're magnificent. They're beautiful. A lot with wildlife and a lot of, you know, blues and icy colors and things like that, which is really pretty. I myself am probably not going to be, I have some kits like that, but I don't think I'll be doing those. I have so much that I'm catching up on, or hopefully catching up on, this being one of them. I really don't have time to add something in for the winter at this point. So I think what I want to do is finish up, where's my tweezers, is finish up what, how did I say I was going to do this way, right? Yeah. So I want to, can't get them in there. There we go. I'm going to use this just so that I have the ability to move it around a little bit. I think I just need to concentrate on getting these things done. You know, from all the stuff that I had really pretty much promised from most of last year, 3/4, or close to 3/4, 2/3 at least of last year, that I had promised to people for a variety of different reasons. Some personal gifts and some design team pieces, and just don't want to get it too high up. I'd like to get it more on, you know, so that I don't want to cover too much of her. And, you know, just, and a couple of orders, actually three orders. Got little things stuck on my wipe. It's time for a new one of these too. But yeah, so by the time I'm thinking that I finish those, and get all of that stuff out to whoever it was intended to be out to, or the design team pieces put in my shop, I will, I'm just going to use this one. I will be ready to do spring at that point, spring and summer, and try to get those done and out of the way. Well, I shouldn't say out of the way, but done and, you know, ready to go into my shop. I have a tendency to, I'm going to use this one here because I don't think I need to worry about the placement so much. I have a tendency to, people will often see a video and say, I'd like to buy a journal, and then they'll tell me what they want. So most of my orders have really been custom orders, and in doing that, I don't get a lot up in my shop. So I don't want it right at the end. I want it up a little bit more. Yeah, I like that. And so right now I've got the letter to the journal maker, or letter from the journal maker, I should say, in my shop. But I don't have anything else. Now, like I said, there's going to be a few design team pieces that are going to go. I'm just going to grab my single hole punch over here somewhere. I think this one will work. So, now this one's a little fussy. I'm not sure why. It should not be, but it is. But that's okay. All right, that still works. It's gonna get ribbon. I don't know, I thought this was my new one, but because I banged up my other one, I don't know how that is even possible, but I did. I think what I want to do, I'm thinking I am going to use this ribbon, this one, because I think it goes really nicely. This is the one that goes in the pocket, so I think I want to do a bow on this one. So let me, I'm going to probably take more than I need. I'm pretty much done with this. I do want to just kind of get that wrinkle a little less white. Okay, that will work. Stay there. Okay, so we're going to put this through. Like so. And then I have to consider putting the bows on the other things. So we're going to bring this, whoops, there we go. You know what? I think I want to go in the other way. Let's pull it out. I want it to go the other way. I do believe. So let's go this way. Is this the way, or is this the way I just did it? Do you think I can remember these things? That's the way I just did it. Okay, let's go this way. I'm trying to get the ties in the front is what I'm trying to do, so that I can kind of put the bow more towards the front and less on the top, if that's possible. There we go. All right, so let's take this and tie it here. Come on. I kind of have glue on the edges of my fingernails, and everything is sticking to it. Now, try to get some of that off. Okay, I'm going to bring this one down and that one up, because I do like that. I don't want you quite so big. All right. have to pull this a little bit tighter because when I try to tighten it, I pull it out. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys something, and it's probably not something that you haven't already seen. But I learned another way of making bows now, other than, you know, tying like this, because you have to kind of work it and put it through the loop. But I'll fix this later because I don't want to take too much time. Where are those scissors? I found another way of, actually that's still too long, of making a bow. And I'm going to try to show you here. Not that I think this is going to work. Let me put these in my little bag. Actually, this is the bow that I made when I practiced. This is the bow that I made, which was kind of cool, I thought. I'm going to try to do it with this. I have not done that yet. So let me cut a piece, and I don't know how long I need it. And what she did was she put the ribbon like this over her palm with her thumb down and held it with these fingers. She opened this finger, went like this. So she went around the back of her thumb and the front of her forefinger, and then, I think, and then she pulled it through and then pulled it through something else. Now, I'll probably get this wrong, but she did it with a lot of, with a much thicker ribbon. I'm trying to see if I can do it with the thinner one right here, and I'm not sure I'm getting it. So, yeah, I think I need longer ribbon, but anyway, I'll have to do it in a different video because this is taking long and I still have things to make. So, but this is another way that I learned with my fingers, besides the fork, on how to do that. So this now is going to actually go in here. And though I was going to glue down, it's hooking on the acetate a little bit, though I was going to glue down the three sides and make a pocket for, I'm trying to make sure I get this straight in here. I decided to just make it more of a tuck spot. So let me try to, this is not straight, so let me put this in more straight. There it is. And that's what it looks like under the acetate when you lift that up. So you've got technically two tags here, a tag here. This will probably go in here, so you'll have the place to write in there. You can write on these things, and then I've got another envelope that's going to go in the back behind there. So we have that. Let me get, see if I can do it with this again. What did I do with it? Okay. Try to get that in here. These are brand new. You think they'd work. You know, this one I'm just going to do, I'm going to take this one that I was using before, and I'm just going to do one of the little pull things, you know, just the little tails or whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure what we call them, but just the little tails on the ribbon, and we'll do that one. And then we will do the what do you call it? The band that will hold this all together. So this is going to go in here like that. That's where this one goes. Oh, and this is a punch. I think this was a Martha Stewart punch, and I don't use them very often because it's another thing I stink at. And what I found, let me try to find that. I'm trying not to wiggle everything. Which draws it in? Here we go. It's one of these, and it's got a corner piece so you could do corners, and it's got this guide, and I've seen people show me, show you how to use the guide. But what I've learned is to fold it, turn it over on the back. I line it up with the edge of the paper at the edge of the punch here, and punch. And then I do the same thing. I put it in here and I line it up with the cutter piece. Let me see if I stand up, get a little closer if you can see it. That's off, you can see. But if you line it up where it's lined up with it, I try to go right to the end. You can do it that way, or you can just do one over and line it up and then punch it. This one's got a lot of pieces, so, and it comes out much better for me this way if I do it upside down. So anyway, that's my little tip. I don't know, maybe somebody else does it the same way, but I found it's easier for me. I'm just going to push these things over to the side. What we're going to do now is work on that band, which is going to go right here. And I need everything in it to do the band, and I'm a little concerned. I'm just thinking, this does have to get clipped in. If I do a band, you won't be able to open it unless I do something to cause it to open, which I could do, though I don't have like a little Velcro thing. I have some Velcro somewhere. I just don't know where. So I think we're going to end up clipping this in, which is fine. It'll end up clipping into the page. So we're going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is just do this from the front, even though that's at the back, just so that I can get where I need it to go. I had pencil marks already on here. I don't want it super tight. I want you to be able to slide it up and down. So, and you can see that it's making like a little, I don't know what you call it, just like a little piece like that to fit around it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. It doesn't matter, honestly. It's probably better to have the pieces overlap in the front now that I think about it, because then you won't see the piece overlapping in the back if you take the belt, the band off. So I just want to try to get this as straight as possible. Let me move it up so I'm sure you're seeing this. I might actually work with it from the bottom. That would make it easier for me to see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So that one, and then I'm just trying to push it about where I think that gusset should go, and it should go just a little further in. So I'm just working it with my fingers to try to get it in the place where I want it to go, I hope. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. So that looks pretty good right there. And then this piece right there. Try to make that straight. Okay. I don't need a lot on here, and this will show it better where it's actually gotten folded. Okay. All right, so that shows it a little bit better. You can see those little pieces where they went. So what I'm going to do now is put the card back where it belongs. And I'm going to bring this here and bring this here. And I think that should be sufficient. I'm going to go ahead and glue it, and then we're going to decorate it. So I want to make sure these pieces are up and up, and then I'm just going to mark here and just a little in from here because I don't want to do too much. And we'll use this glue, the 3-in-1, so that we have a minute to make sure we've got it where we want it. And if we don't, it's a little easier to pull it off, clean it off. And I think we'll be okay right there. All right. Okay. Give that a second. And we're looking pretty good there. Now let's make sure it will actually go on. I don't want to yank on it too hard, you know, right now, because I want to make sure I get all this lace inside. I don't know. I may have to, well, you know what? The price of beauty, right? You have to play with it a little bit to make it what you want. I may let this out some. I'm going to pull it and let it out a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right, now let's try. Because it does end up getting, you know, a little... I'm just trying to be careful of the lace on the bottom. That's much better. It doesn't have to be super tight. I can pull it in a little bit more. It doesn't have to be super tight. It just has to be enough to help hold it closed. So, and I can. I'm not sure why. I probably just pulled it out too far. So, let me, the beauty of 3-in-1. There we go. All right, and that should still do it. All right, it holds it closed enough. Then I have, oh, you know what do I still want to do it? Yeah, I'm going to undo this. Hang on a second. There we go. I'm going to undo this, and I am going to put the, looking for the right side here. I don't think this one really matters that much. I do want to put the lace on it, which now also means I'll probably have to open it up a little bit so that it'll account for the lace. The lace isn't that thick, but it just makes it harder to manipulate over the piece, I think, probably. And this I'm going to have to make sure I give a minute to dry. So let's try to get this down where we want it, right about in the middle. I can always trim the ends. I just want to try to get it even. Okay, I'm going to hold that there for a minute. Make sure that this is all stuck down. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And this essentially, until we put it on a page, this essentially will finish the piece. So I'm now looking at this too. This should be in here. Okay. All right. While that's drying there, let's just go ahead and trim this edge. There we go. And I will trim this edge. I know I'm not near the end enough because I'm cutting it the wrong way for me to see right, so I have to turn it back around. So that's good. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of, oh no, we don't want to get rid of that. I need that. And I was going to use these elsewhere, but I think now I will use them towards the front. All right, so that is not too sticky now. Okay, good. I think what I may want to do is trim this. I don't want those. Well, maybe I do. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, get rid of some of this bulk. Okay. Yep, that's good. And that'll get rid of a little bit of that, which will be good. And we are going to go ahead and do this around this piece, so we're sure that we have plenty of room. Okay, I'm going to go this way with it now. I want to make sure. I'm not worried about the pencil mark because I'm not worried about the pencil mark because it's all going to get covered. I'm just trying to make sure there's enough. So I'm going to draw the line here, and we're just going to do the glue here. And actually I'm going to do it with this, I think, this time, because if it doesn't work, I'll just cut it off and do it again. Okay, I'm cleaning out my nozzle, my glue. Here we go. I'll put that back in here if I can see it. How are we doing? Oh, we're still going. Good, good. All right, so we're going to put that down to the pencil mark. Okay. Perhaps. Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm gluing the lace. That's why it doesn't want to stay. I may have to do the, there's lace back here. So I do have to do the 3-in-1 on here. It's okay that the art glitter glue is on there too. But what's going to make it stick through the lace is, at least what I found, is the 3-in-1. Makes it stick through the lace. So we will do that. Okay. Make sure I've got it straight. And I can move it, so that's a good thing. And then we're going to start thinking about what we want. I was going to use it on the other, what do you call it? I still may go back and use it on the other card that goes in there. Okay. I just want to make sure I can slide this on and off, but I don't want it letting it bulge, you know, pop up too much. And I just slid it right out of there. Come on. All right. I got it caught, so that tells me something there, that I'm going to need to trim those little pieces that hang down. Okay. Get you straight again. Yep. All right. What I wanted was to put this here, and I think it was this one I was going to use. I think I'm going to move it over a bit, put that there, and did I want the butterfly on here? I don't remember. I don't think so, no. I'm thinking perhaps, you're getting one of my thought processes again, you know. All right, I think what I want to do is this. I've got glue stuck to me, so everything's sticking to me. Go up here with this piece, put that under there, and then Cherish is going to go on here. Can you see what I'm doing? You sort of can. Okay. I think that's what I want to do there. So let's put the heart. No, we're going to put this down first. I'll try to put this on with a little bit of art glitter glue. So my hope over the course, my hope, I always hope, over the course of the next several weeks is I take a lot of screenshots of people's work, mostly sometimes just to remind me, because I'll watch their video and then I want to go back and watch again and actually do it with them, or, you know, see how they've done it and try to make a template or something like that. And yeah, just a little off center, I think. And so I take these screenshots to remind me, because I'm always going through my photos, but I've got so many photos in there now. And yeah, it's getting getting kind of crazy. So I need to, that'll work right there. I need to go through them and make prototypes of what I've seen people doing. Some of them, it's a matter of papers that they've chosen and how they've chosen to decorate things. So those pictures I'll probably keep. But when I'm just looking at something for, I'll try to get that over. That's why I wanted to put these flowers on first, because I wanted to make sure that I kind of keep it centered. So this Cherish is going to have to kind of come in a little bit like that. So a lot of it is for papers, and I mean, you've seen people do things, and we all have our taste. Obviously mine is vintage, but a lot of people like, you know, like something more modern with stripes and dots, or, you know, whatever, things like that. I think I'm just going to put it down a little bit towards the bottom more. So we can make the exact same thing. We could make this and make it not look vintage, but make it look more modern. Well, I like the piece, but I don't like the way necessarily it's decorated for me, for my tastes. So that's sort of, you know, what I'm thinking there. Okay, so that's good. That slides up and down off of there. This is in the wrong place. So essentially, I think we are done with this piece now. So let me just pull this out. Let me get something I can put underneath it so it doesn't look so weird on the board here with all the gray and white. So this is what we have, and I want to make sure that we stay in frame. Okay, am I? I am. Okay. This is what we have. And this will end up getting clipped on a page, and then this piece will go back and just tuck in behind it, and the band sort of holds it down in place. So we have the band, and the band slides off like such. And then when we open it up, we have this little tag, which I did do on the back. And then this opens the rest of this way. So I think this is all in, I hope. Yep, it's all in. So you can do journaling on these little panels here. Then you have this envelope that opens up, and there's paper inside here. So you have room for journaling there. Then in this belly band, you take this tag out, which is probably better to take out from the bottom because there's a pocket on it. And then you have this tag here you can write on the back, and this one, or journaling card, and you can write on the back of this one as well. That goes back into the little tuck spot here. And I would assume we're going to put it back in from the bottom, as well as taking it out from the bottom. Then you have these flowers that are here on the side. This whole panel will then lift up. You have room here to journal. And then this is the picture that is inside the panel, which kind of looks like it's just what it is, but it's actually inside. And, well, you can see if I pull it out. There's this paper that matches this in the back, and then this tag that we have here. And then when you flip that over, you have all that journaling space. So you can journal here. You can journal on these two tags. Again, take it out from the bottom. So you have this to journal on. And then when you lift this up, you have this to journal on, and you have this to journal on, and you have this to journal on. So you have all these beautiful pieces that you can journal on with this little piece. Plus you'll have this envelope that'll be tucked in behind it that also has a piece of paper that you can do some journaling on. And there's plenty of room in this one, at least, maybe in the other one, that if you wanted to add a tag, or a journaling card or another piece of paper or something like that, you could do that as well. So that is this piece all done with all my little pretty pieces and all my dirty stuff that's poking in. But that's that for this one. I really went over. This is very long, and I apologize. I'm just looking at the time, so I'm going to do a quick goodbye. Thank you for being here. Thank you for new subscribers, for my regular subbies. Bless your hearts. Thank you so much for your comments and following me, and come back again soon. In the meantime, be safe, be happy, and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.